Hello, hello, hello.
One of my favorite intros. Well, it's got that cackly witchy laugh. And hello, good morning to everyone.
Good morning, good morning, you lovelies.
Michelle, Leslie, Sam, and Jules. It is great to see you guys. I hope everyone's doing well.
Yes, yes, yes. And there's Meemaw Dawn. Good morning, sweetheart.
How wonderful to see you all. So I'm going to ask you the usual questions. How's your weather? How's your weather? What's on your hook and what's in your cup?
Well, I have my good old Hill Country coffee with some hazelnut creamer, and I'm going to be working on a prototype hat while we're sitting here. My weather, folks, it is 68 degrees this morning.
Wow.
Right now.
That's incredible.
Good morning, kitty cat.
It is 56 degrees or 13 Celsius with a high of 70 or 20 Celsius. So it is really cool here this morning. Not cold, but cool. Right. I am rather enjoying it. I have plain iced tea in my cup and not really working on anything at the moment.
Right.
I started another amigurumi last night. It is Nosferatu. Now, it's not my pattern, it's someone else's pattern, but I will probably change it up a little bit. Welcome back, Leslie. Hello, Jen. Good morning.
Good morning, DK. How are you?
Hi, Kendra.
And Kendra, good morning. And there's our Michelle, 58 degrees for her as well. Coffee and finishing a hat.
Our high is almost the exact same thing. How wonderful is that? Hey, Jules. It's good to see you, hon. Yeah. 55 with a high of 63 and rain, coffee, and chugging. You are opening dishes later. No worries. It is so good to see you in the chat, Julie. Letting you know that. You tagged me in a video. Oh, my. I'm excited. Can't wait to go see it. I know I'll be looking at that when I get off the live. But that is awesome. I'm super excited. So today's topic is like a whole bunch of stuff at once. I thought we could chit chat, yarn, Halloween, and today is International White Cane Safety Day.
Ooh, that's nice.
Which means something to me, guys, because I walk with the white cane.
Well, no, it needs to mean something to all of us because we all need to know what that white cane means.
Well, yes, it actually should. Leslie said 66 here, Dr. Pepper. I'm working, but I have been crocheting on a couple of mystery projects. And hello, Sarah. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
47 degrees and rain with the expected high of only 53. Speaking of mystery, Julie, you got a package coming to you today. Awesome. Some of us may know. And some of us don't know, like Julie. But that's okay. I'm excited for that. Julie, you'll have to come to Zoom to open that.
Yes, she says she's watching for it.
Oh, we are excited. So, tell you guys a little bit about the white cane. That is what blind people use. Oh, Kitty Cat says 53, coffee in my cup and knitting a Halloween shawl. How wonderful is that?
Which shawl is it, Kitty Cat?
Yeah, which Halloween shawl? That's a good question. So the white cane goes back a long time. And believe it or not, it originated in the UK.
Oh,
It was used as a form of identification. Dawn says currently 64, but going to be 76 today, drinking coconut coffee and still working on a shawl for the veterans. That is super wonderful, Dawn.
okay. Before we move on, Dawn, that coconut coffee, is it sweet on its own? I'm just wondering because I haven't tried it yet.
Oh,
Oh,
Spider's in the house from Ravelry. Hi, Thrifty.
good morning, sweet thrift.
That sounds awesome.
It
Kind of
does.
creepy. Awesome and creepy all at once.
Yep, right up your alley.
Mhm.
Sorry.
It's the truth. Hi, Diane.
Good
And hello,
morning,
Magic
sweet Diane,
Frog.
and our little magic frog. How are you both doing today?
Loves it, loves it, loves it. Yes, although I use Italian sweet cream. That's exactly what I use. But I get the sugar free Italian sweet cream. And I don't add any sweetener.
Right.
I just the Italian sweet cream. And actually, it said I finished my coffee. It says it's a beaver,
I
and on the front is
was gonna say
Bucky,
it's got to be a Bucky cup.
the Bucky cup. And I did just finish my thing. Maureen, if you like coconut, have you tried the California Farms toasted coconut almond milk? I bet that's yummy.
I don't like any of those nut milks. I have tried them. I have not tried that one, but yeah, I gave up a long time ago.
I like cashew milk because it's
Mm-mm.
creamy, not powdery or grainy or gritty.
Yeah,
But I don't like almond milk because it's gritty.
yeah.
But I do like the cashew milk quite a bit.
Hmm.
Diane, I'm doing as well as can be expected. Good Lord bless me and opened my eyes.
Mm, that's right.
There you go. I guess you could say I'm good. I only slept about an hour last night.
Oh, mercy me.
No idea why. Couldn't get my mind to shut up. That's how good. Leslie says I don't like them either, but that one I had to start using
Oh,
when I was on a liquid diet, and that one is the only exception to the options. Well,
okay.
thank you, Diane. Oh, it's okay. It happens to me sometimes, Magic Frog.
Yeah.
It just does. So I'll take a nap later on, and then I will sleep tonight. It's just one of those things. You just it
Yeah.
is what it is. It's all good.
Okay, I
I
want to
can't.
hear about the cane.
So, um, white cane. Let me go back up here and get my history of it because I was looking up the laws. The laws, the laws, the laws. Let me come back up here and get it. So, I don't want to spill that. Hang on. One moment. All right. So, for today, let's get this. Now, the laws that I was looking up earlier are gonna make you laugh. The white cane is not just a tool that can be used to achieve independence. It is also a symbol of the blind citizens in our society. Now, this is around the world. To honor many achievements of blind and visually impaired people and recognize the significance in advancing independence, we observe October 15th each year as White Cane Safety Day. Today, the white cane works as both a tool for the blind as well as a symbol. But this has not always been the case. Throughout history, the cane, staff, and stick have existed as traveling aids for the blind and visually impaired. Dating back to biblical times, records show that a shepherd's staff was used as a tool for solitary travel. The
Mhm.
blind used such tools to alert them to obstacles in their path. For centuries, the cane was used merely as a tool for travel, and it was not until the 20th century that the cane, as we know it today, was promoted for use by the blind as a symbol to alert others to the fact that an individual was blind. This new role for the white cane had its origins in the decades between the two world wars, beginning in Europe and then spreading to North America. James Biggs of Bristol, that's in the UK, claimed to have invented the white cane in 1921. After an accident claimed his sight, the artist had to readjust to his environment. Feeling threatened by increased motor vehicle traffic around his home, Biggs decided to paint his walking stick white to make himself more visible to motorists. And it was not until 10 years later the white cane established its presence in society. In February 1931, Gully B. Herbemont launched a scheme for a national white stick movement for blind people in France. The campaign was reported in British newspapers, leading to a similar scheme being sponsored by Rotary clubs throughout the United Kingdom.
Oh.
In May of 31, the BBC suggested on its radio broadcast that blind individuals might be provided with a white stick, which would become universally recognized as a symbol indicating that somebody was blind or visually impaired. And of course, in North America, the introduction of the white cane was attributed to the Lions Clubs International, which is pretty awesome.
It really
And
is.
I love it. I love it. Now, it was in the early 1960s that Congress had proclaimed October 15th of each year as White Cane Safety Day in all 50 states.
That's awesome. I
It
want
was
you
done
to
that. Mhm.
go ahead.
It was done that way in order to recognize those who are blind, visually impaired, and to instruct those who are not
Yeah.
in what the cane means. Well, happy birthday, Magic Frog, to your husband. So it's National Grouch Day, which is appropriate. That's funny.
That's what I
It's
was going to read. That was too cute.
it's 55 in the UK, says Jen.
Mm-hmm.
So I normally share you information on what the white cane means. So it is a designation of being blind or visually impaired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not going to look up the stats for you, but when someone is blind, I am blind. That doesn't mean I can't see anything. Hello, Amy.
Good morning, sweet Amy.
What that means is I can't see, I can only see to a certain degree,
Right.
a certain percentage. It is a very small percentage of the blind community that can see nothing.
Right.
There's always some semblance of vision, whether it's determining the difference between light and dark, or colors, or you have the blurredness like I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have peripheral vision, which is how I am able to read and see. My central vision is distorted or gone. So I imagine trying to read with just your peripheral vision, which is your side vision, and it's on the sides here and the sides, here. Um, you have to get used to it and develop it.
Well,
It
it
is not
also it
easy.
also creeps in on you, doesn't it? I mean, it develops over
Yes.
time, so you do have the time to adjust and learn to adapt.
Yes, and I've had time to adapt. It wasn't easy in the beginning.
Right.
It's very hard, but I've had to adapt and overcome. So, what I have found interesting, what I looked up today was Now, this all relates to the United States. I looked up white cane laws for the United States. And what I specifically looked up was laws for my state that I live in and the laws for Maureen's state.
Oh.
So, in the law in Virginia, what it says is vehicles must stop for pedestrians guided by a dog or carrying a white, red tipped, white, or metallic cane. Whenever a totally or partially blind pedestrian crossing or attempting to cross a highway in accordance with those provisions is guided by the dog or carrying a cane which is predominantly metallic or white in color, with or without a red tip, the driver of the vehicle approaching the intersection or place of crossing shall bring the vehicle to a full stop before arriving at such intersection or place of crossing, unless such intersection or place of crossing is controlled by a law enforcement officer or traffic light. Any person violating any provision of this section shall be guilty of a Class 3 misdemeanor. And the punishment um, is a fine of not more than $500. That's all it says. Now, I prefer Texas.
Oh.
Texas says, 1, no person may carry a white cane in a public street or highway unless the person is totally or partially blind. So, not just anybody can use the white cane.
Yep.
There's 1. 2, the driver of a vehicle approaching an intersection or crosswalk where a pedestrian is guided by an assistance animal or carrying a white cane is crossing or attempting to cross shall take necessary precautions to avoid injuring or endangering the pedestrian. The driver shall bring the vehicle to a full stop if injury or danger can be avoided only by that action. And it goes on. If it is shown on the trial of an offense under this section that as a result of the commission of the offense, a collision occurred causing seriously bodily injury or death to a blind person, the offense is a misdemeanor punishable by a fine of not more than $500, 30 hours of community service to an organization or agency that primarily serves visually impaired or disabled persons to be completed in not less than 6 months and not more than 1 year. A portion of the community service required under subsection C2 shall include sensitivity training.
What?
And then it explains what a service animal is, assistance animal is, and a white cane is. I found this very interesting.
We don't mess around. Hello, Sharon, sweetie.
Hi, Sharon. And then it continues on. Watch for individuals who are blind at bus stops, intersections, business areas, and near schools for the blind. And I'm like, oh, Texas gonna kick your butt. I really like that. And I also like the fact that in Texas, not just anybody can use the cane.
That's
Now,
right.
Texas isn't the only state that did that, but I found that really cool. California is very lax on it, and I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are states that don't want to penalize people,
Wow.
and that's upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Now, we do have other laws that govern the blind, and that is covered under the ADA, the Americans for Disabilities Act, but I was kind of surprised. Now, Texas is pretty strict when it comes to protecting the blind. But I was really surprised. Virginia's pretty middle of the road.
Right.
Hi,
Good
Cindy.
morning, Cindy.
I really thought that was interesting. It's incredible. Now, nobody teaches children about the white cane.
Oh.
No one. I can't find any schools that teach about that. that's something I guess is relied upon the parents,
Mm-hmm.
or unless they just see it on TV or out in public.
Stop. No.
Yes, it is, Julie. I mean, I have the list. It's someone. Look at you, 33 months, Cindy.
Woo,
Thank you so
Cindy,
much.
you are awesome.
I just not that I think a school should teach about wheelchairs and prosthetics and white canes. I just do find it kind of sad because there's no way to teach someone about it. I don't know. It's kind of sad to me.
Mm-hmm.
But my question for the chat is, how would you go about instructing people, children, about the white cane, prosthetics, and wheelchairs? Should it be done at home? Should it be done in school? Should it be done in church? What do you guys think?
I think it
I'm
should be
just
done in
curious.
school. I really
Yeah.
do. Now, I think it's not a bad thing for parents to talk to their students. There you go, guys. Talk to their children, especially when they're out in public and they see someone with a white cane. A child is going to ask, yes, all of the above, school and home. Um, a child's going to ask. And I think that's a very good teaching moment right then. I don't care where you're at. You can stop right in the middle of the sidewalk and explain it to your child. And then, of course, you can carry on the conversation whether you're in the car or you arrive home. But I think it's important that we teach our children why. Why does someone
Yes.
walk with a funny leg? Why do they get to have a dog in the restaurant and we can't bring our puppy? Things like that. So I do think parents have a responsibility, but I definitely believe in it being taught in school.
I agree, Julie,
Mm-hmm.
because it will definitely cure ignorance. And,
Mm-hmm.
when you cure the ignorance, you get rid of the bullying.
Well, here's the other thing. We go to great lengths. There's a program that's called Red Ribbon Week, and we teach students the importance of like not driving, not doing drugs, not drinking, that kind of thing. Um, we were lucky enough in that the Department of Public Safety here in Texas brought out these glasses that the students could strap to their heads, and then they were put in golf carts.
That's what they did here.
Mm-hmm. So that the kids could see and get a feel for, like, all right, this is what your world looks like when you've had 2 drinks. This is what it looks like when you've had 4 drinks. This is what it looks like, or maybe it went by the alcohol content. Stop it. Sorry, I've got a very needy dog here. Keep scratching my arm. But I thought that was really good for them to see. This is what happens when you indulge like this.
Yeah.
We could do the same thing with wheelchairs. Bring them in and let the kids see just how difficult it is for people that have to now get around in wheelchairs, and why we should
Yes.
respect and give access for them to be able to move around and be just as socially engaged as the rest of us.
Hi, Ashley. Thrifty, actually, it's not. Only about 1/3 of the blind use a dog.
Right.
The majority of them use the cane.
No.
And honest to God, it's because service animals, there is a waiting list.
Well, not only that, they cost so much because
They
of the training
cost,
that goes into them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're $20,000 to $50,000 per dog. I'm not exaggerating. I'm dead serious. Now, the blind person doesn't have to pay for the dog, but there is a 2-year waiting list to get a dog. Um, and yeah, that's what it costs. That's why you have to donate to these places in
Stop.
order for them to train these dogs.
No.
It is a very, very expensive thing. But Leslie says, when I worked as a speech therapist, we talked about not making fun of people no matter what their ability was.
That's
We
right.
did this during what most of our students called Wed Women Week. Hey, my darling Granny D.
Hello, sweet Granny D. And yes, ma'am, you are still the queen.
Bless your heart, honey. You're still in my prayers. The Minnesota State Academy for the Blind is celebrated yesterday since they have half a day today.
Oh,
Well,
that's
I'm
nice.
glad that they celebrated. That's awesome. Um, I have my cane. I still use my cane. I do not go out with my cane every time. I will have it with me, but sometimes I leave it in the vehicle and I
No,
walk with my husband.
no.
I hold my husband's arm or I hold
Mhm.
my husband's hand, and I have the ability to walk, and it works fine. Yes, a guide dog is different than a service dog or emotional support dogs. They do fall in the service animal category. I know that. Um, they're very expensive to train, and it takes them, mm, I'd say, almost 18 months to train a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And they start training them when they're 3 months old.
Yeah.
I have a cane. I have several canes. Um, they're very helpful, and it is a good way to walk around. It's the way that we know our environment so we don't fall off the curb, trip over a curb,
Yeah.
fall on stairs going up or down. It helps us in our environment so we can literally navigate our environment.
Right.
It makes a huge difference. Hey, Sharon, finding a wheelchair light enough for me to lift that accommodates your weight is impossible. I can understand that.
Yeah. And
I
that's a
carry,
shame too.
and people not understanding what that cane means, um, they're them not knowing is not their fault. Nobody taught them.
No, that's right.
Therefore, they don't understand why if you're walking straight toward them and you don't see them
Right.
and you bump into them with the cane and they think you're being rude, you can't help it. You didn't see that. You
That's
didn't
right.
see that. Now, I have had people approach me and ask me, what is your cane for? What does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've had an adult approach me with their children. Can you explain your cane to my children?
Yeah.
And I've done that. I've collapsed it, showed them how it collapses. I've let them touch it so they're not afraid of it.
Mm-hmm. And
And
see,
they've
that's a
asked,
great teaching moment. And that was uh, a wonderful act that that parent did with their kid.
oh, I loved it. I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. And yes, they do ask questions. How did you lose your eyesight?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know where I'm at if
Right.
you're blind? And then
Mm-hmm.
having to explain to them, not everybody loses
Yeah.
100% of their eyesight. We all have some small amount of vision.
Mm-hmm.
So, just by hearing, I know where you're at. I know where to turn my head.
Right.
I just having to explain that, but being able to instruct them. So now when they see someone with a white cane, they know, one, don't grab them.
Right.
Two, ask, can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
They know this. And I am proud to be able to teach them.
And
It makes me proud.
do you find that sometimes when people see that you have the white cane that they automatically assume you can't hear too?
Yes. Yes, it actually has hurt my feelings in the
Mm-hmm.
past.
Yeah.
Um, because not just Joe Schmo. Hey, Sandy.
Good morning, Sandy.
It's not even just Joe Schmo in the public either.
No.
I went to a doctor's office.
Oh no.
And it's in a building, and we went from the doctor's office on the 3rd floor down to the 2nd floor, and the receptionist there. I had to have blood taken and had to have a chest X-ray, and I asked the woman if she could tell me how to get there,
Right.
and she says you need to. She didn't point. You need to go over and sign in at the kiosk, and she's telling me what I knew I needed to do, but not telling me where it
Right.
was. And when I asked her and explained to her I couldn't see, she just said it louder.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
I repeated it to her again, holding up my white cane and saying, I'm sorry, but I am blind and I cannot find it. Can you assist me? She said it even louder.
Oh my goodness.
And I was very hurt and went over in the waiting room and sat down and cried. I know the woman could see me. She didn't come over. No one came over to see what was wrong with me. My husband finally came back inside from taking a phone call, and immediately, what's the matter? What's going on? And he was disgusted.
Yeah.
We got my stuff done and were able to contact management of that building and let them know. And the woman had to go back into training.
Yep.
But this is a medical facility, and she didn't know what my white cane meant.
Right. Julie said, when I wore my chemo pack, kids asked questions. They would talk about a loved one who was battling cancer or who had passed. It gave them a chance to talk about their feelings too. So communication is very important. Yes, ma'am, it is. And Jules, congratulations to you for being willing to share with those kids. See, that's the thing. It's not only just the public being willing to ask questions and be educated, but people like you and like Julie not being upset because this is happening to you, but wanting to share and educate, because there are some folks that take offense to you asking, you know what I mean? Or you being willing to share. So
there are some people who've never accepted
right
what happened to them. Now, was I upset when I found out?
Yeah, yes. When it happened or starting to happen?
Yeah, of course I was upset. I wasn't happy about it.
Right.
But, that's when you sit down and you pray about it and you're like, you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
It's just something else we got to deal with. And you go on from there. You have to make the best of your situation. You have to adapt and overcome. And that's what I do. I don't just sit there and wallow in my self-pity, because that's not going to do anybody any good.
Right.
I would much rather teach people about it than sit over here and wallow in self-pity.
Yep.
Because what good does that help? I'd much rather answer people's questions about, macular degeneration than, be a negative person about it.
Right.
Julie said, I never get upset with questions, user friendly as it were. The initial diagnosis is rough, then the learning curve kicks in. Absolutely, Jules.
Yep.
It does. It does. I wasn't happy when they told me that it's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah.
I know. But I've adapted and I've overcome a lot.
Yeah.
And I still keep going. I can't believe that woman thought your ears weren't working instead of your eyes. It's sad.
Well, I think it comes from the whole aspect of, I've heard it called the Helen Keller syndrome.
Helen Keller, yeah.
Yeah. in that many people think that just because, and it doesn't work both ways. I mean, you
No,
know when people are deaf, I mean, because they can still see. It just seems like that when many people come across someone who is blind, that they assume that they're deaf as well.
I was humiliated.
Right.
I should not have been embarrassed or humiliated,
Be right back.
but I was. And, having to talk to management repeatedly over the whole situation for a couple of months, you know, I wanted the woman fired. I did. But they just took her out and retrained her. But I really wanted her fired. Now, from then on, my husband never lets me go to a receptionist by myself because he doesn't want that to happen to me again. Is that overprotective? Probably. But he still doesn't want that happening to me again. He knows exactly how upset I was.
Right.
And he doesn't want me to ever feel that way again. Dawn said the parents also need not be embarrassed to talk
That's
about
right.
it. When their child points out they need to talk about people being different
That's
and
right.
why, and not be embarrassed to talk about things. I agree. Hello, Sherry.
Good morning, Sherry. How are you?
I agree with you completely. You should never be embarrassed.
Mm-mm.
You know, children say what they think. And don't be embarrassed when your child would ask a simple question. I do too, Granny D. And he does, doesn't he? He takes very good care of me. He knows what I can say. Occasionally, he'll still hold up the phone and say, "Hey, babe, read this," knowing darn well I can't read it, you know. But he'll tell you he forgets,
Mm-hmm.
and he does, but he still will make sure I'm not alone. I
Right.
have him with me. Um, I don't sign anything unless he reads it,
Right.
just to make sure. You've been lurking and listening, but
Aw.
as a person who lived with a juvenile macular degeneration for 40 years, have lived through the bad and the good through the years, I was diagnosed in my late 20s. So there you go.
Well, good for you,
I get
Sherry.
it. Yep. So I get it. And all you can do is make the best of things,
That's
adapt
right.
and overcome. And that's what I've done.
Yeah.
I made my environment so that I could work with it. I don't have a small computer screen. I have a big screen TV, and I sit about 18 inches from it. And that's how I see. Plus, the font is huge.
Mm.
That's how I can see to do YouTube.
Right.
Wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. When I first started out, I had to have people read the chat to me
Mm-hmm.
until I dialed it in and got the big screen TV. It what you have to do. I do notice though, from when I could see until now. Yes, Maureen, have you been practicing your knitting?
Yes, I have, Granny D, and it's getting pretty. It is.
When I was younger, I liked colors like deep purples and deep teals, deep
Mm-hmm.
greens, the jewel tones. And as I've had my blindness, I like the brighter colors, the bright neons and very bright colors. So that's changed in my life. Um, but other than that, not many other things have changed. But that's what has changed is because of the blindness. I've switched where where I tend to lean toward with clothes, with colors.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have to learn to crochet and knit without being able to see it. I
Right.
still can't train myself to quit looking at it. I
Yeah,
mean,
because you do that by feel now, don't you?
I do it all by feel. I can be in a dark room, crocheting away, my head's still down looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the dark, crocheting with black yarn, crocheting. Can't see it, but my head's down at it. I don't know why I do that.
Habit.
It's such a habit, you know, of looking at your stuff, and I'm trying to train myself to keep my head up. I haven't accomplished it yet, but working on it. I am. I'm working on. If you have any questions about, well, I can answer about my blindness, um, about the blindness or the white cane or other assistive devices I use. Please feel free to ask anytime. You can ask. I do have a small amount of diabetic retinopathy, but that's very minor. My main diagnosis is uh, macular degeneration. And yes, I was diagnosed a long time ago. It's just gotten worse and worse as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But I am excited because Halloween's coming up sooner and sooner.
Yep.
And I have been watching old scary movies, like old Boris Karloff scary
Yes.
movies. Yes. I mean, like old movies. I was watching one called The Terror with Boris Karloff and a very young Jack Nicholson.
Oh my word.
Very young Jack Nicholson. Young. So I was watching that. I enjoy that. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that. I am I am crocheting an amigurumi, but I'm not. I just started it. Let's see if I can find him for you. It's in a kit that my darling dear Leslie of the Corn got for me
Oh.
from Sam's. There he is.
Oh, look.
Nosferatu.
Cute.
That's what I'm crocheting right now. That's the kit.
Creepy crochet kit. Oh my goodness.
Literally, that's the kit. You can only make Nosferatu and the tombstone. Anything else you want to make out of the book, you have to use your own yarn.
Granny D says, I have seen that one many times, Jen. The one with a young Jack Terror, with a young
Yes,
Terror Tower or something like that.
yes. It's yes, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. Absolutely. He keeps talking about seeing the girl, and everybody's like, there is no girl. He's like, I seen her. They're like, no, there's no girl. You don't know what you're talking about. Yes. So I thought that was cool. Uh, I like those older ones where you don't
Mhm.
really see what happens, but it's so cool.
Right.
Um, I love that. And I am going to be watching Psycho, the original Alfred Hitchcock one.
Yep.
I want to see that one. I think it's going to be really cool um, because you don't see what happens. It's all in what's in your mind. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And I definitely have to watch me some Vincent Price movies.
Oh,
Uh,
most definitely.
love Vincent Price. So when I tell you I like Halloween and I like that kind of stuff, I like the older stuff. I
Right.
do like some of the new stuff, but I'm more into the older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird.
No.
I like the old stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I like to put on the list Beetlejuice. I don't know
Oh,
why. To me,
yeah.
he's definitely a Halloween movie.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah. Love Beetlejuice. Oh, and I'm finally gonna watch The Greatest Showman.
Oh,
It
really?
came on, and Joey mentioned something about it, and he recorded it for me. I haven't watched it yet. So I'll get to see The Greatest Showman finally. I've
Man,
never seen.
that is good.
Yes, it does. It does. I love the music in all of them. Hello, Heidi.
Good morning, Heidi, sweetie.
Oh my gosh, Diane, I loved him so much. When the man passed away, I bawled.
Yep.
I am such a nerd for Vincent Price.
Yep.
His iconic voice, and I mean, even his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was very iconic.
Right.
He did the House on Haunted Hill.
Yep.
And I loved him in that. I thought he was fantastic there. And I'm trying to think of the name of the Museum of Wax.
Uh,
I can't think of the name of it, but he did the Wax Museum.
yeah.
I love that one.
House.
Yes. House of Wax.
That or House of Horrors?
I can't remember. It was something of
Yeah.
wax, I thought. He was, yes. Yes,
Yes,
he was.
Diane.
That's why they used him at the end of Michael Jackson's video Thriller, because that's what he was considered, was spooky personified. Yeah. And so he did the voiceover at the end of Michael Jackson's Thriller video. I think he's fantastic. I love him. And I've also got to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, of course. And I know for some of you, I'm going to say younger people, I'm sure you've got on your list all of the Halloween movies, all of the, what's his name?
Friday the 13th, Jason.
Friday the 13th movies.
And of course, Michael Myers' Halloween.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. There's a third one.
Oh, you mean Freddy Krueger?
Yes, gotta have
him. Great.
Now, I will not watch Chucky.
Well, he doesn't.
Nope.
I know. We don't have good actors like we used to.
Last Man on Earth? Yes.
Yeah, The Last Man on Earth was really good. They did a remake of that with Will Smith, but he was not as good as Vincent Price.
No.
And I think Will Smith is a good actor.
Oh, yeah.
But he was no Vincent Price.
But here's my thing. I think the reason why we love the really old movies is because it's in black and white. Mm-hmm. And you have to imagine the colors. You know what I mean? Whereas now, I mean, everything's in color. I think that's the reason why I love black and white photos so much, is because of the depth of the contrast between, and with all the shadows and everything. I know it's not for everybody, and I know black and white movies are not for everybody, but
I like black and white movies.
I do too. I really, really do, because I honestly believe that it requires of you as the watcher to truly watch. Yes. Because I can tell you what, I can sit here and I can watch a lot of movies and crochet. And so I hear more than I see and hear. You know what I mean? So,
hi, Carrie. Hi, Susan.
Good morning, Susan.
And Carrie popped in.
Carrie popped in? Well, good morning, sweet Carrie.
Well, it makes me, I mean, I know it's a movie and it's completely different, but a black and white movie reminds me of a book where you have to form some of the imagery in your head.
That's right.
A book, you have to form the imagery in your head. So I love that. And that's probably why I like black and white movies so much. The blood and gore is not on the screen.
Right. Again, it's something that you have to picture in your mind, just like when you're reading a book.
And that's what I love about it. I love that. It's more psychological. It's better. I do too, Granny D. They are nostalgic and they are magical.
Yeah.
I love old black and white movies. And Heidi loves Chucky and babysits a little boy that looks almost exactly like Chucky. That's
Oh,
awesome. I
well, I
know what
hope
he should be
it's
dressed
Chucky
up.
in a good way.
But it's funny. I remember when a lot of these movies debuted. I saw Nightmare on Elm Street when it first came out in the movie theater.
That's the one I was thinking of, Nightmare on Elm Street.
I saw that when it first came out in the movie theater. I was in ninth grade, and my aunt took me and my girlfriend, and there's like a big jump scare coming in the movie, and my aunt reached over behind me and hit me on my shoulder, and I never jumped. And she's like, "Why didn't you get scared?" And I looked at her and I said, "You can tell it's not real."
Oh,
And she so wanted me to get scared in this movie, but having watched horror movies with my dad,
yeah.
I never got scared because I knew it was not real. I thought it was so funny. She tried so hard to get me scared, and it did not work. That wasn't the things that scared me. I do like Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I
Very
love
much
Hocus Pocus.
so. I think Hocus Pocus is adorable.
Yeah. One
Yes,
and two.
Freddie is getting his own Hollywood star, and
Oh my
I think that
goodness.
on Halloween too, of all days, I can't wait to see it. They're gonna if you go to the website for the Chamber of Commerce in Hollywood, they will record it. It's a YouTube video, and they put it up, and you get to watch him get his star.
Oh,
So
that is so cute.
you've never Greeny D. It's a child's movie. It's awesome.
You
Not
got to
like
see
baby
it.
movie, but like Hocus Pocus level Halloween Town. His mom dresses him as Chucky too. That's awesome. Oh, Heidi, sneak me a picture. I love that. He did you send it? Ah, Robert Englund is awesome. He's a very good actor in outside of being Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about him playing Freddy Krueger, he brought that character to life with just his facial gestures.
Right.
And I thought that was incredible under all that makeup. I loved that. It was on yesterday on either AMC or the Sci-Fi Channel. I can't remember which. You gave it to him at TerrorCon a few years ago.
Oh,
Awesome. Ah, Sharon, I'm mega jealous. But you know what? You deserve to meet him. You go and you volunteer your time.
that's right.
But I am jealous. I'm serious. I think that's fantastic, though. I do. I love it. Oh, Betty Davis. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? Great movie. The Nanny. Oh, absolutely. She was even in Burnt Offerings.
Yes.
Burnt Offerings is a fantastic read. Well, it's a great movie, but I'm more of a book. I would go to the book before I would go to the movie.
Right.
Great read, great movie, and I'm trying to think of the man that was the actor in there. He was fantastic in that movie too. Hey, Laura, and
Good
hello,
morning,
Gwen.
Laura, sweetie, and good morning, Mama Gwen.
I mean, that was fantastic too. Yes, hush, hush, sweet Charlotte.
I don't think I've seen that one. I may have and just don't remember the title to it.
I mean, Betty Davis was phenomenal
Yeah.
and beautiful when she was younger. I do like Betty Davis movies. I will say that. I did like Betty Davis a lot. And I love watching her movies. And I did watch The Exorcist 1 and The Exorcist 3 the other day. Joan Crawford. I'm not as big a fan of Joan Crawford as I am of Betty Davis. You have to go in a few and take the van to the shop.
Oh
Oh,
no.
you got to ride home? They got to check your brakes, Greeny D.
I think that's why she's taking it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure. Well, we are going to go ahead and end it because my live, is going to send you straight over to Carrie's house. And Carrie goes live after me, and I want you to have time to refresh your drink and hit the restroom. Reagan was at Terracon this year. Oh, how awesome
And
is that?
Elvira. Now that's one I would want to
Elvira.
see. Most
That's
definitely.
a blast. Oh, good, Greeny D. Awesome. Well, I want you guys to be able to hit the restroom and to grab a drink before Carrie comes on. So, Maureen, you go ahead and start.
Thank you all, each and every one of you, whenever you come up to visit with us here on a Wednesday morning. I know it's a little bit early, but we're just so appreciative of your time. Please always remember to be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know. Could be your light they need to see. We love you guys.
Oh, Sharon, be careful. You have a tornado warning. Be careful.
Oh, yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to have you in my prayers, darling. And Greeny D, you be safe too.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you tomorrow
Yes,
on
ma'am.
Maureen's.
Yes,
Tomorrow
ma'am.
on Maureen's channel tomorrow morning. I love you guys so much. Please stay safe, be kind to one another, and happy yarning.
Love you
Bye.
guys.